We live in a strange world. Things are constantly changing, sometimes quicker than we're even prepared for. As a 25-year-old, becoming a full-grown adult at the epicenter of this, change isn't always easy, but it's inevitable. I found now that I've fully stepped into the world as my own person, I've learned to embrace change. However, some things are great the way they are, like old video games. The days before botched launches, endless updates, microtransactions, pre-order bonuses, beta keys, EA turning into a black hole and swallowing... Rockstar turning into a black hole and swallowing every dollar they see. You know, you could probably put a lot of developers in that last sentence.
Stupid.
But that's enough of that. You didn't click on this video for a therapy session.
So I suppose now comes the inherent fucking grilling about how I feel about all this.
You're here for Midnight Club. The thing is, for me, this game is going to be hard to separate from the nostalgia I have for it, so it's inescapable. Anyways, what is it about MC2 that really hits home, especially when the sequel improved on so much? Well, the one thing that I think MC2 does not only better than 3, but better than pretty much any arcade racer since, with a few notable exceptions: the atmosphere. It's the sun-soaked, bite-sized versions of LA and Paris that really steal the show for me. They just have this thing, this certain feeling to them that hasn't been captured really in any other game. The vibe is very specific to this game, and it shows. Paris feels complex and tight, with huge jumps that can send you nearly flying out of the map if you go fast enough, whereas LA has these wide-open 6-lane highways, perfect for tapping the handbrake and getting the ass end loose. How can you not love blasting through Tokyo going 220 while bass-heavy trance blares in the background? The best part is, this game doesn't really rely on a lot of visual effects. This isn't Wipeout. It's tire on tarmac, roaring V6s, two-wheel driving, weaving in and out of traffic, crashing into everything goodness. It's fucking Midnight Club.
This pretty boy's car isn't meant for the streets. It's made for stopping traffic and drawing in stupid crowds. You're revving without a cause, Chico! You're about to become roadkill!
So, if you've never played a Midnight Club game before and you're wondering what makes this series stand out from something like Need for Speed, it really boils down to one simple component: velocity, speed, and direction. The speed is there, present and visceral, in your face. You're never not going fast in this game, and although it's definitely got some twitchy controls, it still drives perfectly fine today. Think Smuggler's Run, but with Skeletric cars. The other notable thing about the races in this series is its lack of reliance on a predetermined path. Every race is a game of trial and error, especially in the latter half. The game forces you to learn every back alley, hidden underground passes, and jump to your advantage. It's the only way to win. So what does it bring new to the table? Well, MC2 brings some two-wheeled toys in the form of sports bikes, which, while in the right hands is perfectly capable, you're always gambling between ludicrous turning speeds and being thrown off your bike at the slightest wind gust. And in a game where crashing constantly is unavoidable, that brings on a few problems, especially once you get out of LA's wide roads and into the narrow nooks and crannies of Paris. You'll end up relying a lot more on those handbrake turns, and since that's consistently equal throughout vehicles, it kinda makes sport bikes pointless. Especially since the first one didn't even have nitrous and you're well into Los Angeles by the time you even get it. Anyways, the premise of the game has always been the same. Start with a beater, end world champion defeater.
I'll see you again on the street, and this time you won't be so lucky.
It's a simple premise, work your way up. Premise that has been lost to time in games like Forza Horizon, which can have you in 250-mile-an-hour plus supercars within a few minutes of gameplay if you get a lucky enough wheel spin. Nah, not here. You gotta work to earn your keep, and work you will. Because once you get into Tokyo, the game just stops fucking around altogether. Everything is out to kill you. Signposts, hidden routes underground, kamikaze traffic, and some of the hardest races in the series. Be prepared to scum a save state or constantly restart, because you're going to be doing it a lot. Midnight Club 2 is an absolute time capsule, a game which is the sum of its parts. It isn't fancy. You can't throw a wide body kit on a Supra and put a naked lady on the side, or throw a screaming V12 into a Volkswagen Jetta. It's just you, the car, and your wits. And that's what makes it a capable racer even to this day. At the end of the day, your real rival is the path you take. For all its challenge, MC2 is still a fantastic racer whose soundtrack and overall aesthetic live rent-free in my head and will for decades to come. If you have the means, check it out though. You'll be blown away. Rockstar's second Street Racer gets an 8.5 out of 10.